If you've ever had...
Welcome to today's show. This is an important video. I just want people to use their brains and think while listening to this video and step back and take your emotion out of it. Because right now, like I always call it the seesaw. The left is up, the right is down. The right is up, the left is down. This is how they're going to create a civil war. This is how they're creating order out of chaos, by dividing the people. Everybody's heard the expression divide and conquer, right? Have you not? If you haven't, you might have been under a rock the entire life, but most people are actually living under a rock if they believe the crap the television is telling you. All they're trying to do is divide everyone. And for those people who are awake, they see that. They realize what this is all about. And right now, we're seeing the seesaw go the other way, because some of the stuff with the Roe versus Wade, the leak, we're hearing all the talking heads on the TV rile people up. Now, on the other side, it's felt like it's been about the right side getting riled up for a few years with free speech being taken away and all this other stuff. Now they're going after the left and getting them riled up, and people are losing their minds over the Roe versus Wade. And somehow we have this actor, President Biden, who, I mean, if people don't understand what's going on here, you know, if you saw the video I did about the Correspondents' Dinner, his bow tie is like upside down. I mean, he looks like, I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing, making him look like a buffoon. And again, I know people are like, well, he really is one. Well, sure, he really is one. But still, the whole point of this is that they're going to bring about chaos by having an incompetent government in place. So people will believe that all of this stuff is happening instead of saying that it's the own government doing it to their people to bring about a great reset. Here's Biden talking about how the Roe versus Wade is going to lead to prejudice against the LGBT. Huh?
This is about a lot more than abortion. What happens if you have a state changes the law saying that children who are LGBTQ can't be in classrooms with other children? Is that legit under the way the decision is written? What are the next things that are going to be attacked? Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
So how that has anything to do at all with Roe versus Wade, bringing in the LGBT, other than the fact that we know that the people who support, you know, the Planned Parenthood type stuff are people who are obviously in that community, and we know how rabid people in those communities can be. And I can't say more than that, of course, because I'll offend somebody, so I'll leave it at that. But for people who listen, who hate my guts, which I'm all for, I actually enjoy the fact that there's people out there that can't stand me, because it just, I mean, some of these people are so insane. If they were siding with me, I would think something was wrong with me. So for the ones who do listen, though, you got to understand, if you're a liberal and you're one of these people who comes and trolls and you're LGBT, whatever, they're working to rile you guys up just as much as they're working to rile people on the right up. And I'm not in the right. I don't believe in politics. I know that they're not real. We all know on this channel for a fact that they're not real. Nobody here's a Trump support. It's one of the reasons that this channel's suppressed. If I was pushing the Trump stuff, I wouldn't be getting suppressed. They pretend in the media that, well, the people, the Republican, you know, media out there gets so suppressed and shut down. I see all these guys like Shapiro. All these guys are perfectly fine. They're thriving. But if you tell people about the left-right paradigm and how it's fake and it's here to divide us, and that's the Masonic motto, order out of chaos, well, that's the kind of stuff they don't want people to think about. Because when people realize that everything's rigged and it's all staged in a show, then there would be an actual uprising, and they don't want that. So they're doing everything they can to rile everyone up for a civil war. It's pretty obvious. And I want to use a Bible quote here because I know people get worried a lot about this stuff, and they're worried, oh, the civil unrest, what's going to happen to me? Proverbs chapter 16, verse 7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And what that means is that God, when you're living by God's law and you're appeasing God and you're doing the things that God is asking, you're living truly by the word, that God will protect you from your enemies. And even your enemies will come to you with peace. And I truly believe that. I think it's a great verse, and it's something I think about quite often, and it's a beautiful verse. But what you're seeing here with this nonsense is just a nonstop riling up of both sides. And I've talked about the predictive programming with all these movies about civil wars, and oh, you know, the Civil War's coming, the Civil War's coming, the Civil War's coming. They've divided us in every single way you could possibly imagine. I don't know I don't know if there's any ones that they haven't touched at this point, right? If you think about it, think about how many ways they've divided the masses against each other, right? You talk about religion, you talk about race, you talk about gender, you talk about Republican and Democrat. The list goes on and on and on. Pro-life, anti-life. They've even micromanaged it down to, from being left versus right to even issues of dividing people, personal issues. I mean, it's insane. It's really insane. So when crap hits the fan, they want chaos to ensue. You see some of the stuff going on with Dave Chappelle, right? Dave Chappelle's on stage, somebody runs on the stage, and I'm not doing a video saying, well, it's real or it's not real. I haven't really even seen the footage. But the media starts talking about it, right? Because they're trying to ignite it too. They're saying, oh, these crazy liberal people, they're going after him because he's doing stand-up comedy, he's using free speech, and they want to attack him. This is just riling people up. And that's all the television's doing. And I hope people go, well, I shut it off and I don't listen to it. Well, you're still on the internet. And it's everywhere all the time. And it's going to affect you one way or the other because you're still, unless you're living completely in isolation and you listen to this channel and you don't see people, you don't have family members, you don't have friends. I mean, they're all worked up because of this stuff. So it affects everyone, even people who are shutting themselves off from this. And it's so important to get people to realize what they're trying to do. They do not care about either side. Roe versus Wade, right? Oh, and then it's a leak, so it gets the right even more worked up. And then, look, as I say, it's a seesaw because it goes both ways and it just each side keeps getting irritated. Now the quote unquote right is laughing because Elon Musk and because Roe versus Wade, oh, everything's coming back to our side and we're going to overtake with a storm in November. That's the narrative. Oh, a storm's coming. We're going to sweep the Senate and we're going to sweep the House. Oh, yeah? I wouldn't be surprised in the least with all these poll numbers. Oh, it's so low. The liberals have no support if the liberals win. And then what would happen then? Oh, the seesaw will go back the other way. And then the Republicans will want to uprise because they'll say, this is rigged. All the data shows that nobody's voting for these people. Nobody's electing these people. They're staying in office. They're rigging the votes. And they'll get all angry and the left will be laughing and they'll go back and forth. Because remember, this whole setup of Congress has to be destroyed. People forget that. The Senate, the House, all that stuff has to be destroyed for a new world order. It is going to be a global government. There are not going to be patriarchs. There are not going to be parliaments. Canada's got theirs. We got our. No. Everything's going to be under one order. So everything has to be destroyed. And these politicians know that. And they're doing their job as actors and provocateurs to do this to society. They're baiting people into civil unrest. They're baiting people into wanting to overthrow government, as crazy as that sounds. And I know everyone's sitting here listening, but Carl, we need to do it. I understand that mindset, but they're baiting you into that because they want to overthrow it too. Not to create a new government that would be beneficial to you, to create an even more controlling government. A one world government, a government of total surveillance. Right? A total surveillance, total control in every which way around the world, in every country. So there won't be these independent, we've got the Senate's been overtaken by a Republic. Oh, the liberals rigged the votes and they're staying. I mean, can't you see it already coming? I know a lot of people on the website are talking about, feeling something huge is going to go down in the fall. That's what I feel. I've felt it for a while now. And maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. I mean, I don't hope or either way. I mean, I just feel something. And that's what's coming up in the fall, right? Couldn't you see, the liberals somehow stay in and then the Roe versus Wade comes back up and this happens and more, border problems. And this is all being done deliberately. And they're working everyone up into a frenzy. People are in a frenzy on both sides. People listen to me and they're like, Carl's in a frenzy. I'm not in a frenzy at all. I know what's coming. I'm prepared for what's coming. I'm waiting to get through the next wave of what's coming. Because when people talk about an uprising and people talk about, well, what are we going to do about it? Well, you got to get through this first wave, which is going to be plague, starvation, shutdowns of grids. Who's going to survive this type of stuff? That's my belief. That's what I feel is going to occur. And what comes on the other side of that, which I'll talk about more on the website. But you could feel something in the air. You have to be crazy not to think it. I mean, their feet are on the pedal. There is no ease up. This isn't like after, what happened in 2001 with those towers. This isn't like that time period where, everything kind of like slowly went back and it just eased up. This is a full throttle push to 2030, and everything will be changed by then. The governments of the world will not be the same. It will be a world government, not independent governments. And the only way they can get there is to destroy it. And how are they going to destroy it? They're going to use the people to turn on one another, and they're going to come in with the solution. And they're going to say, you know what? The way the system was set up, it failed everyone. The left and the right, it failed everyone. Our democracy failed. Our democracy was destroyed. We need a new democracy. All the white power of the past and all these things that they keep spewing out are on purpose to create a new government, for people to want it. Oh, and to appease the right side, they'll say, hey, you know what? We found out that the elections were rigged and all this stuff, and now we just need to start fresh. This democracy does not work. And they know there's going to be anger, right? I mean, we heard Klaus Schwab talk about it's going to be an angrier world. Oh, it's going to be an angrier world. It's going to be a much angrier world until people get so tired and worn out by it that they're going to accept what the government presents. And somehow we're still letting these people control our lives and manipulate our lives. And that's the unfortunateness of all this. This is more of us than them. But everybody is caught up in this. And the left-right is it is the ultimate storm. There's people who are awake for the most part. They know what's going on. They know about a new world order. They know about, this globalist plan. But they still fall into the right because they're like, well, they're like-minded people here in the right. But if you realize it in the right, if your vote doesn't count and none of this is real and Trump and all these guys are in on it too, working you, then you shouldn't give in to these parties. You should realize the people on the left, you shouldn't be fighting with them. I try not to fight with them. I understand how people feel. I mean, they're insane people, but they're all under a spell. They're so deluded and delusional because of the mind control. Their whole life is based off mind control. They can't get out of it. I feel for them. And I'm not making fun of them. I'm being dead serious. I'm dead honest about it. I do feel for them. I get just as frustrated as everybody else. But people on the right are just as frustrating too, because they're waiting for the savior to come. Oh, Elon Musk, oh, Trump. I mean, how in the world are people buying into this stuff? Elon Musk is going to save the day for free speech. The guy's trying to get a chip implanted in people's brains. Okay? He's the master of transhumanism, which is the mark, essentially. I mean, you don't think he's a candidate for Antichrist here? No? I mean, give me a break. And I'll cover him in separate videos. But and then Trump's going to come in? What about when Trump was supposed to drain the swamp after the whole pizza thing? And nothing happened and people still believe. They're like, well, it's, because this is why. And they go off of the stuff with Q and they don't realize the CIA runs Q. Are you kidding me? You really kidding me? That gets mainstream media press, Q. The CIA controls, it's unbelievable. And people think they're awake and they're not. And I'm not trying to sound self-righteous. They know I'm wrong about stuff, but I know for a fact that I'm not wrong, and I know because most of you believe the same thing, that we're not wrong about the left-right paradigm. We're not wrong about selections, not elections, democracy and republics not existing, and them working everybody. That's all they're doing is working everybody. So the Civil War is coming. You could see like the clip I showed you earlier with Biden, just baiting people who are in the LGBT. Oh, you're not going to be able to go to school. They're going to what does that have to do with Rover? What does it have to do with it? Right? But they're getting them worked up where they're like, our lives will never be the same now. And it's like they're so foregone in their thought process. It has nothing to do with one or the other. But they're doing that on purpose. They want to create chaos and insanity. And they're driving everyone insane on every single side until it boils over. And when it boils over, and it will be soon because something will occur, when it boils over, be ready because it's going to be insane. These people will be underground when it happens.